Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about cake pans. And I think, cake pans are something that people argue about. But in my experience baking custom wedding cakes for 20 years, you don't need to invest in super expensive cake pans. The only time I bought cake pans that were like super expensive compared to other ones was when I needed a specific size that didn't come in commercially, like kind of regular cake pan sizes. So let's start with Wilton. Wilton pans are basic cake pans that you can get at the craft store. There is absolutely nothing wrong with these. People complain about Wilton all the time. I don't know, but I think it's because there's a lot of cake snobbery and people want fancy pans. I promise you that if you go to a commercial kitchen where they're baking a lot of cakes, they're not spending money on cake pans. They're just buying the cheap ones and they're using them a lot. So there's that. Um, the thing about Wilton that I do like is that there is no seam, and this is one of the things you need to look for in a cake pan. If it matters to you, they have a rounded kind of a rounded edge here, and that's one thing that I do like on the square pans is an edge that's a little more square. But then you have to trim it anyway, so it's not really that big an advantage. The Wilton pans are fine. This is a 6-inch pan. I use this all the time. Probably every wedding cake that I made had a 6 or a 5-inch tier, so I use these all the time. Easy to clean. When I here's another thing. When I do cake pans, when I bake a cake, I take a piece of wax paper or a silicone insert, put it on the bottom, just a cake circle of wax paper or parchment, line the bottom. I never did anything on the side of the pan because it didn't make any sense to me. And I went to culinary school. Okay. So they say that you oil or butter the side of the pan and then you flour it to keep the pan or to keep the cake rising well. So it'll grip the flour as it rises and the oil will help it separate from the pan when you're taking it out. Okay, well, if you're oiling it to get it to separate and then you're having to put something on there to get it to grip the pan, why not just leave it blank? The problem when you're removing a cake pan is the bottom. Okay, so as long as you have a piece of wax paper or parchment on the bottom of the pan, you don't need to oil it. You don't need to grease it. It's just so much faster to put a parchment in there, run a sharp knife around, or just a butter knife, right? Run a knife around the side, and then turn it out, and the wax paper comes right out. And then you peel the wax paper off, and you have a perfect cake. So you don't need to do that. But anyway, I did this with the Wilton pans. Fine, they work fine. These are inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at the craft store usually. So just go and get the pans that you need. Now, if you need weird shapes or weird sizes, sometimes Wilton doesn't make those. So let's start. I think this looks like a 4-inch. This is a 4-inch cake pan, I think. Let me see. Yeah, this is a 4-inch top. Now these are smaller. I'm not sure if Wilton makes these because when I was doing cakes, 4 inches was not a popular size. And then the real narrow tall cakes started to get popular, so people started making these pans. This is just a generic pan. I didn't use this very much, and the one thing I did not like about it is this seam. It doesn't really matter, but I just visually don't like it. Okay, so it's really not a it's not going to stop me from buying this pan. But you can see that like the discoloration on it. It's just not as I might not have cleaned it as well. I don't know. But it when you use these pans that are real like the generic brands, they will kind of get hot. So you have to watch out for this kind of thing. If you get a pan that gets real hot and black on the bottom, then you need to make sure that you clean this off before you bake with the pan because sometimes that can make it heat up. But there's nothing wrong with these. The good thing about this specific pan, I don't even know what the name of it is that the ridge on the bottom of it is very sharp because it's made with a separate piece here. And you can see this if you look at the pictures of the pans you're going to be buying. If it has a little ridge here, then this is a separate piece and this is just a coil, and that's why they have the seam. They have like two pieces they put together to make this pan, and it's going to give you a very sharp edge on the bottom if you can remove it from the pan the right way, which is why you want to use the wax paper or the parchment, right? But this will give you a good edge. You're still going to have to trim the cake. You're still going to have to do stuff. So that sharp edge on the pan, it might be a selling feature for some people, but if you still have to go in and level the cake and trim it, then you're going to be changing that edge anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. Okay, this is Magic Line. Okay, so I have two Magic Line pans here to show you. The good thing about Magic Line is that they're taller. Now, this is the one thing about the more expensive pans. If you can get pans that are 3 inches tall instead of 2 inches, which is what the Wilton is 2 inch usually. I think they might make some 3 inch pans now. The 3 inch pans are really convenient, okay? Because if you're baking taller tiers, then that's good. You can have the 3 inch, but you can also just kind of overfill the pan like you would a little bit if you're making a 2 inch layer. And if it rises a little bit, it's still going to be in the pan. It's not going to overflow, right? So I really like these. You don't have to use a cake collar to keep it from overflowing, depending on what kind of a recipe you're using. If I was making a red velvet cake, I knew it was going to overflow. So I definitely used a cake collar. Magic Line also has a pretty good edge on the bottom, and there is no seam to them. Okay, so this is all one piece of metal that they have used. They've made some, some kind of a machine that presses it, and it is just one solid piece. There's no seams to it. You're not going to get leakage on the bottom. So Magic Line is a good brand. I really like these pans. But as far as baking, like the quality of the baking goes, that doesn't matter. You can use Wilton and they're fine, okay? The benefit of these is that they're taller, so you can't overfill them a little bit. Make sure that you're getting a 2 inch layer if you want that height, and they don't overflow. And it's just the one piece, it's one solid piece, but it does have a better sharp edge than the Wilton pans do. But like I said, you're going to be trimming that anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Okay, now this is a Magic Line square pan. Okay, um, this is a four and a half. This is a 4.5, so this is a weird size, and I probably use this as a 5, so 5 inch tier. This is a strange size pan, and that's one of the reasons why you would buy the more expensive pans, is because they come in weird sizes. It's good to have a whole range of different sizes, because then you can offer different size tiered cakes. And I had like every size. I think I had some 3 inch tiers. Yeah, but you just go all the way up, and then you can offer a whole lot of different shape combinations and tier combinations. The good thing about the Magic Line pans is, again, it's just one piece. It's one solid piece. You can see that this has been pressed, and there's no seams to it. It has a very sharp edge on here, and for square cakes, that is helpful. Okay, but here's the thing: if you don't line the pan the right way, it's going to take a chunk off when you take this off, and you're probably going to have to trim the side anyway. So it's good to start though with a cake that has a sharper edge so that you don't have to adjust as much. So just think of it that way. All right, now this is a Fat Daddios. This is the last one I have to show you. Fat Daddios is a really good brand. People love these pans. This feels a little bit heavier. It feels like it's a different kind of metal. I could be completely wrong on that. It feels like it's a little bit heavier than the Magic Line and the Wilton. The downside of these is that this is a softer edge. And see, the corner here is curved. But again, you're going to trim a square cake. I have never done a square cake where I didn't have to adjust something to make it actually look square. So to me, that's not a big deal. I probably bought these because it's a specific size. This is a 5 inch pan. So it's the kind of thing where if you have to shop around, you don't need to stick with one brand. You don't need to stick with one brand of cake pan. I'll put links to all of these in the description of this video, but you don't need to stick with one brand. You don't need to worry about quality of the bake, because that's really more dependent on your oven, to tell the truth. But if you do get a cake pan, and I have had this happen, if you get a cake pan that consistently burns, like you get scorched places on the pan or on the cake, just throw it out, because there could be something wrong with the metal. There could be something that's just thinner than it should be, or whatever. But if you just invest in the sizes that you need, that's basically it. And I would say that if you're going to sell cakes commercially, like custom wedding cakes, get the full range. Get at least 2 of every size so that you can do 2 layers at once, right? And that way you don't have to worry about trimming things down. Yes, you can. Some people cut a sheet cake and carve it up. I don't understand that, because it just is so much waste. Um, and just trying to even things out. I'm sure it makes sense for some people. You can leave me comments if you want, but I don't think that you need to think about it that hard. Just go buy some sizes that you need and then offer those. But it's really handy to have all these weird sizes that are not standard, like 6, 8, 10, 12, because then you can offer people more options and you can offer them different shapes of tiered cakes. And there are very different profiles. We have tall and narrow, we have like a pyramid. So there's all kinds of different things to take into account, but you really don't need to worry about spending money on super expensive pans to begin with because it's just not necessary. I would say the one thing is to get the taller ones. If you can afford that, at some point do that because it's handy. It's just handy. And that's it. Okay, so leave me any questions and I will talk to you later.